What's up, guys? Welcome to CryyystalDoes. I'm Crystal, and I do things. If you've previously watched any of my videos, then welcome back, and if you haven't, then welcome. Today, I'm super excited to do a first impression and full swatch for you guys of the new Jackie Aina palette. She did a collab with Anastasia Beverly Hills, and honestly, I'm so excited to play with this palette. When it came out, I knew that I had to have it and do some looks with it. And I cannot wait to show y'all this palette today. Before we jump into that palette, I do want to do a quick update on the Jeffree Star Liquid Frost that I was telling y'all that I needed to practice with a little bit more, learning how to put it on, as well as the Morphe by Jeffree Star Set and Refresh Mist. I did do a side-by-side comparison with this on one of my previous videos, which I will link up above if you'd like to watch it. Where I wasn't quite sure if I would prefer the Morphe by Jeffree Star one or the Morphe one, just because the Jeffree Star one was a little bit tackier on my face when I first applied it. But I did do a 7-hour wear test with these. I went to a baseball game, and it was hot, humid, everything you can imagine at a baseball game. But I wore this on one side as well as this on the other side, and when I came home after the game, both sides were completely flawless still. No makeup had moved. I would say that these two are very, very comparable. They work basically the same. The Morphe by Jeffree Star one, though, does have a starberry scent to it. So if that is something that you like and that you think you can wear all day and kind of have a lingering smell, even after the 7 hours, I could smell it slightly, then I would definitely say that you should give this Morphe by Jeffree Star Set and Refresh Mist a try if you already love the Continuous Setting Mist, because honestly, I could see myself using this Morphe by Jeffree Star one when I want to have a little extra, like, oh, what does that smell? Like, I think these are super comparable. As far as the Liquid Frost goes, the overall thing about this highlighter is that it takes off my foundation underneath. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but right here on my cheek, I applied it with a brush. This is the Moda BMX 265 Glow Brush, and I just kind of very lightly tapped it after putting very, very little, and then afterwards I went and patted it in with my fingertips. And honestly, like, I even asked my husband just to make sure that I wasn't just seeing things or anything like that, and there is just a slight patch right here and right here on the apples of my cheeks where the foundation underneath has moved. So I don't know if it's just the formula of the Liquid Frost compared to the foundation that I use or something like that. Now, if you were doing a no foundation look and you wanted a little bit of highlight, I could definitely see you using this. Or if you wanted to mix it in maybe with your foundation and get an all over glow, I could definitely see that happening too. But for me personally, I think that I would just prefer using a powder highlighter, because I know it's going to blend nicely. I know it's going to give me a nice finish, and it's not going to take off any of my foundation. So let's get down to business. I know this is what you guys came for, the Jackie Aina palette. Reflective packagings are always probably like my favorite packagings ever. They always catch my eye. On the back, it has her name really big up here, and it does say that it's an eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. This is what it looks like outside of the box. I love this packaging, seriously, so much. I love that there is a texture to it. I think that just adds a little extra to the palette. And of course, on the back, it has the ABH information on it. When you open it, this is what it looks like. Yes! Oh my gosh, so cute. It has this little protective screen thing on there, and I love those because I hate a dirty mirror. So it also has this little extra protective right here that has the ABH logo on it. Super cute. All of their palettes that I've ever had that are like this have that on there. And then this is what the palette looks like. It also comes with a double-sided brush, as all of these palettes do, which I think is a really nice touch. I personally have never used that brush, but I feel like someday I probably should to see if they work good. So let's get to these swatches. I'm gonna actually take this brush out of here so it doesn't fall out on me. So we're gonna start with Soleil, Cream, Pinker, and Big Wig. So those are the first 4 shades. The next 4 shades are Wallows, Credit, Lituation, and Lamb. The next 4 shades are Wiggles, Shookington, which that one kind of kicked up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that right there in the corner. Trust Issues and Edges. The last 2 shades are Sponsored and Ginger. Those are all of the shades swatched on my arm. So let's get into this eye look. Alright, so as you guys can see, I went ahead and zoomed you guys in so you could see my eyes a little bit closer while I do this look today. As you can tell, I have a full face of makeup on except for my eyes. I decided I wanted to do it this way today to see if there's any fallout or anything like that on my actual face that can be swept away, or maybe would show the pigment and wouldn't be able to wipe away as cleanly, because I do know that some people wear their foundation and all that stuff before they do their eyes. So I just wanted to do it a little bit different today just to give it a little try. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Wet n Wild concealer. This is in the shade Light Ivory, and I'm going to apply it to my eyelids. So I'm using a AOA Studio E113 brush. This is like a flat, it's somewhat stiff but not super stiff brush to blend out my concealer. I wanted to make sure that I used the same process with this palette that I do with all the other palettes that I use. So I'm using concealer as my eyeshadow base. Now that I have blended out that concealer, I'm going to take my Luxie 250 brush. This is a large eye blending brush, and I'm going to take this shade Soleil right here. And I'm going to actually set my concealer with this shade. It is a shimmer shade, but I don't mind an all over shimmer. So I'm going to start all the way at the top and go all the way down to my eye. So I want to do a purple look today because I really want to use this Shookington shade right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the JS8 brush, and I'm going to dip into the shade Pinker right here. And I'm going to go right into my crease. Now I'm going to take the JS5 brush, and I'm going to dip into the shade Supreme. And I'm going to apply it just above the shade Pinker and blend upwards. All the way up into my brow bone, and then all the way across, leaving just a very tiny space between my brow and the shadow here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Morphe M431 brush, and I'm going to dip into the shade Big Wig right here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go right into this crease, just like that, and I'm going to use sweeping motions to pack that color on right into my crease. After I pack it into my crease, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit more of my brush, and I'm actually going to try to do a halo eye today. So I'm going to bring it in from the outer corner as well as the inner corner. But I'm going to leave a small little space in between the middle of the two with no product. So this is what the start of this is going to look like. If you do happen to get any in the center where there's none of that purple product, that's perfectly fine, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the same concealer that I used before, and I'm actually going to lighten this up just a little bit so that the purple has something better to stick to. I'm going to take the JS10 brush right here. This is the brush that I've been using for concealer. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to actually slightly cut the crease in the very center of the eye look right here. And then I'm going to just bring it out just a tiny bit in the center. But I'm not going to go out too far with cutting this crease. That way we can have that nice halo eye where the center has a shimmer in it, but it doesn't go too far out. And now I'm going to take a JS11 brush. This is a packer brush. It has somewhat dense bristles, but it is still really fluffy. And I'm going to take the shade Shookington. Now this one does have a little bit of fallout on it, like I was telling y'all before. All the shades have a little bit of fallout, but this one seems to have somewhat of a different kind of fallout just because it is a shimmery shade. Not too bad though. So I'm going to take that on this brush and I'm going to pack it right on top of that concealer that we just laid down. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the JS13 pencil brush and I'm going to dip into the shade Lituation here. So I feel like deepening up the outside and the inside edge is going to help create that illusion of the halo eye. To help give this halo eye a little bit brighter effect in the center, I'm going to actually take my finger and dip into the shade Trust Issues, and I'm going to pop it right on top of the center of my eyelid. So that is what it's going to look like on the eyes when you tap in a little bit of that Trust Issues onto your Shookington. I love how this look came out. I don't wear a whole lot of purples, but when I saw this palette, I knew that that was about to change because these colors are super bomb, and I knew that I had to play with them. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to accentuate just a little bit my crease by using a glitter. This is gonna be the shade Violetta. It is by Mirror Cosmetics. I do have a discount code with her that I will link down below. I'm going to be using my Ben Nye glitter glue and the JS14 brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip a little bit in there and I'm going to go right onto my crease with it. And then I'm going to just take this Aesthetica brush right here, dab a little bit into the glitter, and then pat it right on top of that Ben Nye glitter glue. I thought this would be the perfect shade to add to this look because it adds just a little bit of the extra purple, but it doesn't actually take away from the palette itself. So it just gets a little accentuation of the crease without overpowering it. So I went ahead and put on some lashes and some eyeliner. I did use the Glamlite calligraphy liner. This thing is so adorable. It is a felt tip liner. I do have a code with Glamlite if you would like to use it. I will also link that in the description box below. I love how this applies and I love how long it stays. So honestly, I would double recommend it. Even if you don't decide to use my code, like, this eyeliner is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and smoke out the bottom of my lashes. This is an e.l.f. concealer brush. It's a very small brush. I love this brush because it is small enough to get under my eyes without making them too smoky. I think what I'm actually going to do is, since I like to use more than just the colors of my eyes, I'm going to actually use the shade Wiggles. And I'm going to put it under my eye, starting at the outer corner and going about halfway. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to use the shade Zam right here. And I'm going to finish from the halfway point all the way to the inner corner. And then last but not least, I'm going to take that shade Trust Issues one more time and I'm going to use my finger a little bit and dab it right on the inner corner of my eye just to add a little extra pop. And to finish this look off and also to use another one of the colors, I'm going to take the shade Sponsored on my finger and I'm going to just dab it onto my lips. So I took a clean finger and I just kind of blended it in just a little bit more so it wasn't too out there or too packed on or anything like that. The shade underneath it is actually the Jeffree Star shade Problematic. I like how it changed the color. I really like this maroon type color, especially for fall. I think it's great. So I can definitely see myself doing this combination again. I know it doesn't super go with this eye look, but I really wanted to showcase that shade because I really like the shift in it. And I definitely wanted to show you guys a little bit more of the colors by doing this on my lips as well. So that is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really love this palette. I do want to say that I know that I was a little bit skeptical about this shade Shookington when I first swatched it, since it did have that kick up that is now in the corner. But since it is a little bit creamier, it stayed in the palette. Like, look, even doing that, it is still right there in the palette, which means that you're not going to lose a whole lot of your product just because of the fallout. Like any other palette, there is fallout in this palette when you dab it with your brush, but it's not too terrible. You're not losing a whole lot of product. So it's not like you're gonna use this a couple times and be like, oh crap, I hit pan on it or something like that. The shades are super gorgeous, super buildable, and very blendable, which is the most important part to me. I like that you didn't have to dip too much into your palette to get the color that I got on my eyes today, but I do have to say that you do have to dip maybe twice to get the buildup that you want if you're trying to achieve this look right here, but not necessarily that bad either. I was using a very light hand to see how little I could pick up and see how far it could go with just that little bit. There was a tiny bit of fallout right here on my cheek, but I took this Morphe M527 brush. This is the brush that I use for my overall setting powder and all of that, and I literally just took it, swiped it away, it was gone. It is not even on my cheek. You can't even tell it was there at all. So that's really great. That is super important to me as well, because especially after you have your whole face on, you don't want to have to go back and take all of your foundation off because you decided you wanted to do your eyes afterwards. Overall, I think that this palette is a palette that if you like these colors, if you need pinks and purples in your life, this is definitely a palette that I would recommend. It has some amazing shades in it. The consistency of the actual products itself are amazing, and they are smooth as butter. So I would definitely recommend this palette. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it so much. I really enjoyed doing this look today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or any suggestions at all for any future videos, please leave a comment down below, because I would love to see and take into consideration what you guys are wanting to see and what you guys are liking and not liking. I also just really quick want to give a huge shout out to my husband, who, if you watched in my last video, he did a voiceover of my makeup. He is super supportive of me, and by the way, not so shameless plug, if you guys recognize his voice, he is the co-host of a podcast called My Game Sense. It is a podcast related to gaming. If you guys listen to that, that's super awesome, and if not, I will also link that down below. If any of you guys play Xbox, PlayStation, anything like that, PC gaming, they cover all of that stuff. They always do an Overwatch segment, so if you're into Overwatch, definitely check that out. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys really like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell icon if you would like to be notified when my next video goes live. Thank you again so much, and as always, stay beautiful.